mounts up. You've got so many things, it's hard to do one of those things right. What else? How else does it connect to your own lives?
Maybe there's a sense of kind of panic, trying to do, everything the exact right way and realizing, oh, I'm forgetting this, I'm doing that. Sort of a panic feeling.
So you really feel that it's kind of the stress mounts and then it escalates. So what can we do about that? We can learn some new skills to help us manage some of those things. And maybe we don't pile our plates so high.
Yeah. Yeah, Doug.
So, we also have some supplementary pages in the workbook. These are some of the things I think, Rachel, you were showing here, and they have figures of totally blocking on this. Yerkes-Dodson law. So have you all seen this before? You all recognize this? So this is the idea that a little bit of stress actually helps performance. So stress here on this level, performance on the other level. When stress is really low, you can kind of just zone out, right? You're not energized. When stress gets a little bit higher, you're still relaxed, but you're more alert. So that stress helps energize your system. But then there's a decreasing curve here when stress gets to be a little bit more. Okay? And really high stress, performance is low again. There's another illustration here in the student workbook that tries to illustrate what your own level of stress is. What's kind of a normal stress response? And we think about stress from low to high, and what happens? Sometimes you feel like here comes the stress and you're managing it a little bit, and it just amplifies and amplifies, and then it gets to be too much and you crash. And thinking about what your limit is a nice activity for students to go through, where they can actually list the kinds of stressors that they're experiencing, the kinds of chronic stressors that they're experiencing, and what their sense of overload is. There's a really fun activity that you can do here. This is a supplementary activity. A memo that kids will write from their body to their mind. And the idea here is to just make a little bit of light about it. It's humorous. How can you help? How can you understand your body's stress management system by writing a little bit of a letter? And there's a form in the workbook that kids can use to help them write this letter. And again, like Rachel said earlier, it's not intended to be high content. right? They're not intended to learn exactly what these things mean, but just get a sense, a general sense of how these things fit together in the way that they manage their stress. And then other activities, other practice activities in the A theme include mindful movement. So this, again, is paying attention to your body, paying attention to how you might move through space. And there are a number of different activities that you can choose from, or a number of different mindful movements that you can choose from, including a palm press, upward stretch, twist, seated tree. And these are things that are relatively easy to do. You can do them sitting and in the circle with the students. And it's a nice way of just getting a little bit more activity going for them if they've been sitting a lot. But it also helps them focus on movement and being mindful in their movement as well. So another activity that can be used and can be built in is mindful walking. Mindful eating is also an activity that can be chosen. And it really depends on how you have time and the different kinds of things that you want to teach. So you'll notice in the manual that there are options for you to select. And so these are some of those options. I like this option as well. Water lines is the option. And this is an activity where if we have brushes, do we have brushes? No? So maybe this isn't an option, but at other times,
At least not today.
at least not today.
Yeah, we have not done, I mean, I think we did it, we've done it with Trish, the grader, but we haven't done it in it was one we didn't choose, which is why we don't have it. I don't think, right? Okay.
Yeah, so this is one that's typically not included in the 6-session version. But if you really like this one, you can use this one too. It's kind of like calligraphy, but it's a way of taking the students through a very mindful, slow, practiced way of holding the brush above a piece of paper, dipping the brush, and then gently going through some motions. So it really is a fun activity, but it's an activity, and maybe we need to get some more materials. And then we have, at the end of like all activities, all sessions, we have an invitation to home practice. Really would like them to do some movement practices. They can use their workbook pages to identify what it is that they want to do. We have, in this session, there's an opportunity or an encouragement for them to pay attention to their thoughts and feelings. Just notice, get them to pay a little bit more attention. And then there are also some mindful eating activities for them too. So they're encouraged to take a look at these workbooks and try these activities as well. Questions about attention? Any? Shall we go on to T? Shall we take a little stretch break? Shall we play some tennis?
Break.
Okay, let's take a 15-minute break, and then we'll come back. And then we have T and H, and then we have Q&A, and then we'll be finishing it up.
Oh, that's what you said? Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This sure reminds me.
If I can get tickets for my oh my god, yes. Okay, I'm gonna see her later, but
Yes.
I'm just gonna see. Don't get too excited.
Okay.
It's tonight, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just,
Yeah, just live under a rock right now. I'm gonna be right back.
hey, Tasha,
Yeah.
have you gotten any emails about summer